Okay, when you set the pin, it automatically assumes it's on your time zone.
I think so. But we'll wait because there's a confusion on the time. So we'll give people a few minutes. Hi, CLP. Can you hear us?
Who's the only one? Hello.
Anybody sending?
Everyone.
Yeah,
That's
thanks. Oh, very good.
Okay. Good.
Okay, can you?
Yes, we can hear you, Chris.
Okay, good. I'm sorry.
Welcome. Thanks for joining us today.
Yeah, witnessing for the world.
Yeah, we're excited. We're sitting here with a lot of rain, and there's some there too. You like it? Yeah. We'll show you guys what's going on.
Yeah, I saw you guys had visitors this week. That was the coolest thing, little monkeys.
Oh yeah, they came back today too.
Wow.
Yes. So they're hiding in the rain somewhere right now, but we're here on the top of the mountain, and we're overlooking the Pacific Ocean today.
Wow.
We thought we'd be able to share a beautiful sunset with you guys, but unfortunately, we're sharing beautiful rainfall storms. It's pretty foggy, so you can barely see anything. I don't know if you can see that ship in the distance in the ocean or not.
I don't see anything.
Oh, right there. You see it, Dan?
No, I don't have my glasses on.
Let's see, maybe from here. No.
I'm trying to see video, getting a screen that has writing on it.
Oh, let me get rid of that. Sorry. All right, what about now? Can you see our screen?
No, it's well, there we go. Yeah, wow, got it now.
Yes.
Beautiful.
Thank you. Yes. So we'll have to we'll make some trips, and perhaps we'll do a live show from somewhere else next time with advance notice so people that might be around to join us. Say hi, Dan.
Hello. Hello, everybody.
Hi, Dan.
Cashmere, you want to say hi, Cashmere?
Hey, Kashmir.
Hello. You're live. Let's go show.
Beautiful.
Yeah. So.
Hey, you guys, what's going on?
Hey, who's that? Let me see. Who's that? Oh, hi, Kevin.
Kevin. Oh, wow.
Hi, Kevin.
Hi, how's it going? I tried to access through the computer, and it's not working. So here I am.
Oh.
Hi. Hi, everyone. There's Dan with his
black eye.
He got attacked by the monkey. He wasn't behaving himself. Yeah. Are we gonna have a surprise guest today, or
I kind of doubt it. I think we would have heard from him by now.
Oh. Let's say if there were thunderstorms, he wasn't going to come because the last time one of his friends was got hit by lightning.
Yes, they did.
By the way, can you guys hear us, or you can't hear us?
I hear you fine.
Oh, is there a lot of background noise or anything, or is it okay?
That's good.
Okay. All right. Good. Let's see who else is on now. Really clear. Very good. So everyone can hear us really well. See who's here now. We got Caroline.
I'm not sure.
Did Kevin fall off?
No, I'm here. I'm here. I was trying to access through the computer, and for some reason it was saying I couldn't.
Okay. So we're going to wait just a few more minutes, guys, if you don't mind, because I think there was a mix-up of time today. Some people think it's 7. Some people think it's 6. Some people think it's 4 or 5. And I guess depending on where you are in the world, it makes it even more
I
complicated.
mean, we can get started, and if somebody comes on late,
All right.
they won't, they won't miss anything.
All right. Well, Dan wants to get started, so we can get started.
Okay, do I want to say? Well, I have to apologize. To my princess. You have to do in the show.
I am in the
I have to. I have to apologize because there was some rumors, speculation we would have a portal visitor after food. Have an actual portal shot today, but we're reloading here.
Oh, Doug is trying to come. Oh, hi, Doug. Good seeing you, Doug. Welcome.
Hey, Doug.
Hi, Doug. Hi, Doug.
Good to see you.
Yeah, let's see.
All right, so we'll keep going, Dan. Keep going.
So there's no, we don't have a portal. There is, but there have been more
What do you mean we
information.
don't have a portal?
Well,
But you want to correct yourself, Dan. Let's go ahead and correct you.
you have a portal. Princess still has her portal. I don't know quite where it is. It might be very close.
No, I think you should talk about what that's the important.
what I learned.
Yeah. No, it's not about pushing the buttons, right?
Oh yeah. It's not, I was thinking I'd come down here and we push the button, push the actuator, and the portal would go pop. But that didn't happen. I mean, we tried that with our friend across the street, Bill Mamaya, and but he said that it might take 18 years of breathing exercises before you're ready to go into the portal. So,
well, I think there's an important lesson in what he said. 18 years is the biggest it's just a number he gave you. But I think there's an important lesson he gave you that I think you should share with the audience.
To be patient.
What does patience mean?
Well, I don't know. It means to be don't have big expectations. Don't really expect too much.
Help yourself.
So expectations don't work too well on portals, I found out. And so John, I wonder if that's John S.
John, is that you?
Okay, no, I think that's me. Okay, can you hear me?
Yeah.
We can hear you.
Oh, okay, cool. Okay, I'm off the phone and I'm back to the computer.
Can you see us, Kevin?
I can. How's it going?
Good. Are you Dr. E?
Yeah, Dr. Evil.
Oh, evil. Oh, I see.
Okay.
So that's a... I don't know.
He's on the phone.
He changed his thing. So there he is. Now he's on Dr. E.
Oh, there he is. Okay.
Yeah, it's Dr. E.
All right. So we'll keep going, Dan.
Well, so I was trying to explain to Bill Mamaya what was going on, and he sort of absorbed it. I mean, but he was a little bit, I think, I don't know, he was either bored or scared. I couldn't tell which. But he was invited to come back, but he hasn't.
I think part of what Bill was telling us is that he had found his portal. And he had gone through the portal, and he was pretty content. And Dan tried to shake him up and say, well, Bill, I think we might want to disturb your portal here. And I don't think Bill was so thrilled about being disturbed.
No. Yeah, he was in paradise. And this is really close to being paradise. He thinks this is paradise.
Mm-hmm.
So, well, okay. Should I tell? So I think Bill is okay. He's fine. He's fine. He doesn't really need him. He already.
Kevin, I think that's you.
Yeah. Somebody. Phone call.
Oh, you guys are upside down now.
I think
No, it's phone call. Is that Kevin? Phone call. We don't have it. Oh, here's Ryan Wood, maybe. It might be Ryan Wood. Going through.
Kevin?
Yeah.
Okay, I think it's cleared up.
You know what makes sense to me is that because you guys are kind of on the other side of the hemisphere, that's why you're upside down.
That was a good one.
Oh dear.
Doug, did we look upside down to you?
It's a portal.
Yeah, you looked upside down, Princess.
Oh.
Upside down. Well, see,
Yeah.
this upside. This is not the way it is, but
So how is it?
I don't know. I mean, I don't.
Oh, there you go.
Oh.
Better.
Oh.
Here?
Okay.
Kind of. Are we still upside down?
No, now you're normal.
Are we sideways?
Well, we're normal.
Normal.
Okay. All right. So I think Dan wants to talk more about patience, and then we'll talk about perfection. But perhaps we can hear from somebody else on patience as well, because I'm sure everybody has a story about patience. Who wants to go first?
Huh.
Okay. How about? How come there aren't any other big places? I mean, how come you're not together?
Somebody else.
Do you guys want me to do it?
Yes, Kevin, we
Can you
do.
get on? Yeah.
Yeah, well, I mean, I've had to have a lot of patience because, doing some portal experiment and doing some traveling or whatever you want to call it. Basically,
Kevin, I don't know. Maybe better.
Hold on.
Yeah. There's a lot of interference when you're talking, so that might be from you, I'm afraid. We don't know who else
Yeah.
that might be.
So, is John on here?
No,
Yes.
I think Kevin, John is. Okay.
John, are you here? Where are you?
No, I mean, yes,
I think he must
I am
be
here.
So-
on Kevin's.
So, John, you were successfully able to retrieve the actuator.
Correct.
No, I wasn't sure we could talk. It's okay to ask John.
Mhm.
Yeah. Okay. Well, I don't know what's he allowed to say about that.
Well, you could tell people what the actuator is.
Well, I've only seen one. Been told I saw one actuator back in stateside, and it was headed to New York. Last I heard, and I never heard about it after that. But then John came down here ahead of time to retrieve an actuator, from a specific location. I think maybe it had been located from the other side, for instance,
Mm-hmm.
but you had to come down the physical side in order to retrieve it.
That's correct. And then and then that would be used for what?
That would be used for activating another portal, and that's when the portalific thing comes in, where more the merrier on the portal. But we want to relieve the political, economic, all kinds of pressure on Earth. So if people could have option to travel off the Earth and to visit the other side. Some might even, when they go over the other side, they may not want to come back, especially if they're as old as I am. And we might have a hard time getting you back.
But age on the other side is not necessarily the same as it is on this side.
Well, but I wouldn't want to come back and have to be 72 years old, maybe. And Kevin, while Kevin's on, Kevin was describing to me yesterday about his new portal experience. But maybe I'll have to talk to Kevin since there seems to be interference on his line.
Kevin, can you try again?
Yeah, can you hear me now? Is it okay?
Yes, it is.
Oh, okay.
It's clear.
Yeah.
So Kevin was explaining to me about, he thinks this was before John brought back the second actuator, that there was another actuator where he and John are in California, and a portal was demonstrated to him. It was made to appear. I think it's kind of like a UFO, but it's stationary. It's near the ground. And
maybe Kevin can tell us more about it.
Well, like I was telling Dan, it's not like, okay, you take, some pieces and you stick them in the ground, and then you turn on some device, right? So it's not like some sort of, 2 antenna bases or something like that. It was something that was like, okay, look, and then it appeared. And, like I was describing to Dan, it's phosphorescent. You can see through it. And it appeared.
Well, wait, you couldn't really see to the other side, but it was sort of translucent.
No. It was a gate that didn't, there was no gate on the other side that you would go through. It was just this side it was a gate for this side. But, it was something I was told not to go through. And don't even try, just see this. And so I saw it.
But you could not see anything on the other side, could you?
No, I couldn't.
Right. Okay. All right.
Because as far as everything that I know, you have to have the two sides of the gate. You have to have this side of the gate, and then you have to have whoever on the other side of the gate that allows you. So I was allowed to see, here's this side of the gate kind of thing.
Right, okay. And that's good. And that's sort of like the Mount Shasta operation, where there is just, or I guess people can go into kind of like a waiting room inside the portal, but they can't go through the portal to the other side.
And I think that you should be in Mount Shasta, Dan, in August. I really do. It's just my recommendation. I would be happy to join you.
I see.
I'm a Northern California kid, Dan.
So who is going to Mount Shasta in August? How many people are going?
Katarina and Gonzalez.
Oh.
And I think Grant might go. I'm not sure.
Well, Doug's trying to say something. We can't hear you, Doug.
We can't hear you.
Chris, are you trying to talk too? Because we can't hear you.
Can you hear me now?
Oh yeah,
Okay,
yes. Chris is really super cool. Chris has had really good experiences with stuff like this.
all right.
I've actually seen a portal more than once. That's what I assumed it to be. In fact, I had an experience with a female that came through one.
And Chris, you call her the lady. Can you describe the? Go ahead. Here's a forum. Go ahead and talk about the lady and her message.
She's right there. She's right there.
Oh, nice. Thank you, Doug.
Yeah, Doug actually paid her.
Wait.
You're painted. I'm sorry.
Doug's the painter. Yeah, Doug, that's really impressive you got there. Oh, so all those paintings are yours?
Yes,
Wow.
these are all in my studio. Yes.
Wow.
So the
Doug's
lady.
an amazing artist. Yeah, this is the lady.
Tell us about the lady.
I'm sorry, go ahead. Yeah.
We're both here. Yes.
So tell us about the lady.
Yeah.
Doug, you said you had the experience with the lady, or was it Chris? Who said that?
Oh well,
No,
Chris,
it was me.
I painted the lady, but Chris had the experience, and I'm good friends with Chris, and Chris and I shared every bit of information about the lady so I could paint the lady. So
okay.
But Chris will
Oh,
tell
how
you.
interesting. That's really cool.
Yeah, it was kind of
Okay.
what happened.
Somebody was talking.
Happened, I guess there's a lag in this thing. Wanted me to tell a little bit about the lady here.
Yeah, Chris, we can hear you.
So what happened was, it was right around Easter of 2012. I had a major experience. In fact, didn't realize it, but all my life I've had this experience with stuff happening. I was shot in the back with a shotgun from 6 foot away when I was 10 years old, a little bitty guy, and had experience on something. So in 2007, I had a major experience on the river. I was very sick, and these things come out of the sky, these big, fiery, orange, burning balls, not machines. It didn't look like that. It looked like big balls of fire. So for 5 years, I was kind of in a dark area where I didn't understand what happened. I knew a lot of things, but I wasn't ready to take on the position, what they were telling me or what I felt like I should tell, until about 2012. Right around Easter, I had this voice in my bedroom in the middle of the night. At 3 a.m., a voice. I heard it as just somebody talking. It was an audible voice, and it woke me up at 3 o'clock. I sat up in the bed, and I heard it, and it just took me to rise, to get up, and to get dressed, and I did. And there were these beings in my room. They were tall. I couldn't really see their faces well, but they were standing towards the end of the room, and just outside of my vision to see them, but I couldn't make them out close. So I get dressed and I walk out, and who I'm with, and I live out in the country, or did. It's grown up a lot now, but moved on the same property my dad was born and raised on. So he had a dog kennels where we raised hunting dogs. He did all. I had an experience there in 07, the being out by this dog kennel. But they dragged me back out that night toward the kennel, and they reached down. There were 3 of these beings. They were tall. They were pale in color. Very benevolent and caring, loving type beings. It's the same ones I was taken on the river with. There were 5 of us. They saw these. There was a manhunt, if you know this thing. So here I am with these three beings, the same people, the same beings that I'm with, just got me out of bed, walks me out towards the dog kennels, and I reached down. They handed me this object that looked like a giant peel or a pack of sausage, you might say. No, rounded on each end, but it was furry. It was gray looking. It felt alive in my hands. It was kind of, I didn't know if it was going to bite me or what. It was kind of like pricking me, so I dropped it on the ground. And they said, no, you must hold this object. You can lose it. So I reached down and I picked this object back up. And when I stood up with it, it's still feeling uncomfortable in my hands. And I look around and these three beings are gone. They're no longer there. So I thought, oh my God, I've got to keep this thing. I felt this great urgency to keep it, but I felt like it might harm me. So I reached up and opened up one of the dog kennels. There's a number of them enclosed with lights and all. I opened up the end kennel and I stuck it in and closed the door. And we're talking about like a pack of sausage, Jimmy Dean sausage, rounded but furry, feeling jiggly, lifelike. The minute I closed the door, I saw it was 3 a.m, but I saw the trees in front of me part. A hole opened up, a black hole. And out of that hole came a wind that blew me. It was very strong, blasted bear, blew me backwards. And I saw a bull, a cow, a big one, coming at me out of this hole in the darkness. And it leapt out of there and ran right over top of me. And I landed on my back in the grass, the leaves. And I rolled to my stomach real quick thinking, this thing's coming back. I got to run away. I mean, it scared me badly. And as soon as I rolled to my knees, now I'm not looking at a cow. I'm looking at a lady. This beautiful woman that was glowing very brightly. She was glowing. I was on my knees and she was just 6 feet away or 8 feet away. I couldn't reach her, but she was very close. And the light from her body lit the whole ground around me up. And she just looked at me. And she told me some things that I never talked about for a long and made me understand what I haven't understood for a long time, what was going on, why this was happening, why I had an experience in the river, and they kept coming, and they keep coming, and they come, and it's now a relationship. It's more like when they're around, I take pictures of them when I know they're there. But she told me, she said there were people in power that were making biblical prophecy come true. She said that. She said, and there's gonna be a revealing soon about this, a great revealing, and that it cannot be a lie, that it has to be told the truth, and that she would help me, whatever it took, to do this, because I didn't ever want to talk about this thing. I did a little UFO show on Discovery right after the thing happened in 2007. Nobody would come help. We got stuff going on around the house all the time, shadow people, things hovering over the house, burning circles in the ground, the grass. And that's what changed everything, even down to being able to take photos of things. I could never get a photo before, but after she came, it all changed, everything.
Are you still in communication with her, Chris?
Yes, in a way. Yes.
So we got a question. Let's see if we can answer some questions. So James has a question. Is there a
Okay.
protocol one has to go through before being able to visit the portal? Dan, you could definitely answer that one.
There are different protocols. I mean, it really depends on it's situation specific. What the protocols are depend on the person, the situation, and
The experience.
yeah, it's so as I say, it's very complicated, but we're trying to simplify
We are.
things. I think.
Just like when I do my build a drone workshop, I have to teach people how to put the different components together one at a time. Because when you look at something that's already built for you, it's very hard to kind of figure out how to do it yourself. So we were thinking maybe it might be a good idea to perhaps create something which would be similar to the workshop style of being able to learn about portal and then ultimately being able to go through a portal, but you have to have some hand-holding for that before you can make it. No, but it's not loud outside. Yeah, why?
Do you want something else to drink too?
No, it's fine. We're doing fine. So I hope that answers your question. And then Josh has a question, which is, I want to be an experiencer. What do I do to become one?
Well, I don't. It's mostly spontaneous. I mean, that's what we're trying to do is make this less spontaneous. And that's why we have these actuator things. That's why Kevin's experience he was describing to us was it was a demonstration for him. It was a ranged demonstration, and so that's but he wasn't able to go too near to the portal or go through it. So yeah, we have to approach this thing gradually, and he may be going out to see the Chevroman's portal, and he's also been warned not to go through that one either, because it's nobody. We're not sure what's on the other side there. Who has been through? This is Douglas Old. Douglas Old. Who has been through both sides of the portal, and can they describe all? Well, I'm sitting next to a lady who's been through this many times, and she's doesn't want to overwhelm us.
And the other thing is, I mean, I think going through the portal, what I experience will be very different than how somebody else will experience it as well.
Yeah, right.
So, it is very personal, but you could think of shape-shifting as a very common denominator among all the people that would go from one side to another. And that shape-shifting really just depends on an individual.
But if you've done this with other people, in the company of other people, and they've also shape-shifted, do you still maintain interaction with them?
Yeah.
You go through as a party.
Mm-hmm.
And
no, I'll give you guys an example, which is probably something that some people might relate to better. For example, with animals, right? You always hear the word wild animals. Oh, don't touch him, or you don't touch that, or this. It's a wild animal. And when you put the word wild in front of this animal, all of a sudden, this animal almost becomes an alien for humans, because it's like, oh, they're unpredictable. You don't know what they're going to do. They're scary, this and that, and all these other excuses that people come up with. It's the same concept. When we deal with something we're not familiar with, instead of just sitting back and observing for a while and learning about whatever it is that we're looking at, we tend to judge things much more quickly. And then we tend to believe our friends who have had a bad experience over friends that have had a good experience. So I think a lot has to do with your attitude. If you have a positive attitude, if you have a positive perspective, when you interact with anything that is foreign to you, I think the response in return is more than likely also positive. But, you know, you have to be able to take out the ability to judge anything that's different than being human or being an animal or being a plant or anything else. You have to strip yourself of any of that judgment call. And I think when you can learn to strip yourself of being judgmental, that's really the first step to being accepted by the other side.
Okay.
Wow.
Oh, thank you.
You're welcome. Well, yeah, actually, our friend Bill was talking about
Bill.
psychotropics.
And,
Yeah, psychotropics, and you're right. You know, some people need some type of help to be able to get to that mindset. But part of the experience is how could you still remain in control of yourself and be able to experience something so different? That's much harder to do. I mean, anyone can.
Need to maintain. I mean, that's.
I mean, I don't do any drugs, and I've never done any drugs. And I mean, to me, I can go in and out of many different experiences, and that's what I'm saying. I think, you know, the first thing we have to learn is not to be judgmental of things that are different than us. And then the second part of that is fear. I think, you know, a lot of times we're fearful of things we don't understand, things that we don't know. So whether it's intentionally or unintentionally, we tend to create roadblocks for ourselves. And those roadblocks then become an excuse not to go through a particular experience. And I think, you know, for example, Dan, I think you can relate to some of that.
You're smiling.
I smile, but it's a good example because you're not the only one. You're not the only one. I mean, there have been chances that Dan has had opportunities to be able to experience many different things, but a lot of times, you know, it's he might not be ready for certain experiences.
Or maybe just be blocking.
And then you just create, and then you just create a roadblock.
Create my own catacomb.
That's right. That's exactly what I think we all tend to do. And it's not just with this experience of the portals or experience of something other than normal life, but I think people do that in their lives. You know, a lot of times in life, if you think about it, you're doing well, and you kind of get scared, and you almost tend to sabotage yourself, whether it's a relationship or whether it's, you know, work, or whether it's something you're passionate about or something that you're really enjoying. I think a lot of times individuals end up sabotaging themselves not to experience beyond what they've already experienced. And and then at that point, I think we also tend to think, oh, well, you know, at least I've had 10% of this experience. Is better than none. So they never make it to that 100%. So going back to the question of, you know, how do you experience, or how do you have an experience, or how do you go through a portal, or what are the protocols? I just think, you know, number one, I would say, learn not to be judgmental, and not just judgmental towards this supernatural experience, but anything in life, anyone in life. If you can learn that as a first basic step, I think that will open up doors that you could never even imagine. Okay, let's go to some questions here. Are these portals constructed by reverse engineering technology from a certain species? And if so, which one?
Lydians. Are these constructed from them or by them? I don't know that they are. I mean, I think any alien species that comes here.
It's truly a collaboration. It is not a one species effort. Just like we as so-called humans here want to experience and learn about other things outside our world. It's the same way from the other side. They also want to. So I think, you know, there will always be people that are going to collaborate on trying to make it happen in a positive way, and there will always be people that are going to collaborate to make things happen in a negative way.
Well, I was going to ask you, Princess. I mean, there seems to be a country, a nationality or a country associated with different portals.
Mm-hmm.
Do you think there's like competition, or is there more cooperation? Or,
yeah, I would say it's more cooperation and collaboration than there is competition.
Oh, that's
because
yeah.
you know, when you talk about the hive,
Mm-hmm.
the hive has to function as a unit.
Okay.
But then
Right.
each one individually has to function as well.
Yeah.
So think of the countries as being that individual unit.
Mm.
But they can't really do anything until the entire hive is together.
I see. Okay. All right.
I don't understand these actuators. Are they man-made devices or some mystical artifact? Oh, John, why don't you answer that one?
What are they, John? Is John?
John, are you on?
Oh, here I am. I'm here.
Hi, John. There's a question on the actuator that I think maybe you can answer. The question is, are they man-made devices or some mystical artifact?
John, maybe he's thinking. I don't know.
No, I answered too quickly.
Or he fell asleep.
He fell asleep. Unfair.
That's an unfair question.
John doesn't get them, and he solves them.
Yeah, so that is true. John goes and gets them, but he does not have anything to do with how they're made. That is true.
Implied in my answer is this. There's a security.
I'm not sure. We may be, but Kevin and I were speculating about what John retrieved from down here, and it was sort of like a tomb raiding situation,
Mm-hmm.
and a tomb visiting situation, and he found. See that they can see the actuator from the other side because you know where to look when you're on the other side. You know where to look for these things, but in order to retrieve, you can't physically retrieve them from the other side. So you had to fly down here,
Mm-hmm.
which you did, to retrieve this portal. Now I was under the impression that this portal was going to be we're going to bring this portal over to Bill, and together we were going to construct a portal. Just for, experimental purposes, but that would not happen. In fact, John, the portal had already left the country by the time I got here, and Ron told me that it was taking longer to activate the portal here. That I think I bumped into it a couple times without knowing. But it hadn't been activated. So we're still kind of, always sort of experimenting here. I'm the main guinea pig at this point. But yeah, the actuators, the portals and actuators, they're sometimes hard to tell apart. And I think one thing you want to ask about a portal, is whether it's animal or vegetable or mineral, and that also applies to the actuator. And it can be different things, but they do. I think, like in a tomb, they used to have these back in the old days. The kings would have, part of being kingship was you had their own portal, own actuator, and they would want to be buried with them. That was how they could get to heaven on the other side. So they would have this in their tomb, and then that was one way they might disappear. Let's see, okay. I really understand the judgmental thing. That's Chris. Right. So yeah.
That was just a statement.
Thank you, Chris.
Right. Thank you. Yeah. I mean, it is. You know, you can't you can't really control this thing the way we can control physical phenomena. Is there knowledge among countries about this portals and such, and the average citizen is being played, and will this end? Well, I don't know that we're being played. I think everybody is being, in some way, every one of us is being played by God, because the catacon is still in effect, and we don't want the lid to blow off. This is like Pandora's box, and you don't want the lid to just blow off all of a sudden. It would be like a decompression in the airplane. You want to have kind of a safety valve, and I think that's the way that they're designed by God, is so that we could relieve this pressure gradually.
Are you saying God designed the portals?
Yeah.
But be clear about what you mean when you say God.
Well, I mean, collectively, the cosmic intelligence, the collective cosmic intelligence of which we're a part, both our present selves and our future selves are part of this, and that the whole thing, this is to be the best possible disclosure, best possible way to open up, way to go about this, because a lot of things could go wrong, and I think they will. People will get hurt. I'm sure people do get burned by these phenomena.
That's his hand.
Let's see. Do they know about? Do they know about the climate change, and do they have anything to do with it? I'm not. I don't know if I believe in. I'm not a climate denier.
I am.
You're a climate denier.
I'm a denier of anything the government wants to push on me.
Okay. Oh, I see. All right. But I'm a climate skeptic in that I don't think the climate is real. I think it's part of the illusion that's down here. And I think the scientists have tended to say, well, this is our illusion, and we're going to tell you everything about it. And I don't think they can do that. And they're looking way into the future, and I don't know, the future they may be seeing is not the actual future. Is there something that happened on this planet recently that would?
Dan, you froze.
Yeah, that's weird. I keep saying I'm talking, but I'm not saying a word.
Something about the organized.
Could be their connection down there.
Oh, yeah.
Now that Dan's picture's frozen up, we lost him. If we put a patch on his eye, he looked just like a pirate.
Hard.
Yep, we temporarily lost the he's back.
There we go. Cool.
No audio, Dan.
Oh, there. I think that's
There you
audio.
go. Yeah, now you're back.
So, I mean, there are many players in this business, and it takes, if you know, everyone has their, you know, particular point of view, and we're trying to coordinate. I mean, hopefully there'll be some coordination, consensus, agreement on what is going on. And let's see, is what going on in Antarctica recently any truth? Oh, well, I've been heard from my source that.
Well, Catherine was talking about Antarctica.
Oh,
what was she telling you about it? Just yesterday, wasn't she?
She was dreaming. Oh dear, I don't know. Was she the one who was dreaming about the hill, the snow-covered hill? I'm not sure now, but I think there is a portal at the South Pole, and it was seen as early as back with one of the admirals, one of the explorers.
Antarctica is definitely a prime place to have a portal.
I would think so, because it's hard for humans to access.
That's right.
That's out of the way. But yes, it has been observed, but it not being well publicized. This. So anyway, I think we're making some progress here. I mean, we're not, you know, I mean, there's a lot of information available here, but it's being kind of parceled out parsimoniously, I might say, but I think for a reason. I mean, so, I mean, I was characterizing the portal, I mean, as a monist, I'm saying everything is everything else. And everything is a microcosm, but particularly God, the concept of God. And I think it's stated that God is a circle whose circumference is nowhere, has no boundary, a circle without a boundary. And, but the center of God is everywhere, is in all of us. And that's the same way with the portals are like this, that they are prolific. The portals are very prolific, but we're just trying to gradually bring them online. And Princess has been going around the world doing this with her drone classes as part of the activation process to get international cooperation on this using.
And that, you know, that's a key word: cooperation and collaboration.
Mm-hmm.
When you work together, you're far more powerful than when you're working alone.
Right, and that's what we're trying. And that's what we're trying to do here with this.
Exactly.
These occasional go-to meetings is to try to get everybody on the same page, let's see. Oh, I don't think you addressed Josh's question. Tonga Long and some recent event. Oh, I don't know what the recent events. I mean, there is an acceleration I think, of disclosure, and as I said, we are trying to keep up with it. We really have to work hard to keep up with what's going on, and a lot of things are happening. Kevin is involved with some things in Hollywood that are going on, and so I don't know. I mean, we had, you know, I've been saying for a while since.
Well, I think the other thing people should try to understand or be aware of, when there is something big in terms of a media announcement that needs to be made, that's really a diversion from what's happening in the back end. So what the media or whoever is trying to manipulate most people, they'll put something out in the news that everybody wants to be focused on, right?
Mhm.
But yet, what's really happening is not what anybody's talking about. So that's why whenever there's anything big in terms of media news stories, I don't waste my time with that. So I actually have no idea what's going on.
Right. And if I could say something about that, you know, like just even addressing Tom DeLonge, what I do find kind of interesting is, you know, Tom DeLonge's whole thing is, you know, aliens and they're evil and we have to destroy them. And he's got this certain group, you know, and some of them, you know, are military people, intelligence people, you know, and he was talking to Podesta and he was doing all these things. And just, you know, really having researched this entire disclosure process, a lot of people get manipulated. And it sort of seems like DeLonge is actually one of those people. And he consistently like, okay, now I'm coming out with this. Now I'm going to do that. Well, he put the book out. It did not make a splash. You know, Greer puts out his last film, and it did not make a splash. You know, nobody's really heard of it except people that are actually interested in this topic. And so yeah, the mainstream media, you know, there's no question of a doubt Hollywood got taken over by corporations. And there's no question of a doubt that a lot of things changed. You know, one thing I kind of find interesting that kind of goes back to what Chris was talking about the lady, right? Because, you know, I'm looking at my notes, you know, right now where, you know, when I was talking to Chris and, you know, he said, well, you know, she's this feminine female presence that is watching over the world. Well, the real name of Los Angeles, people always call it the City of Angels, right? The real name is La Ciudad de Nuestra Señora la Reina de los Ángeles, the city of Our Lady, Queen of the Angels. And so underneath all of this, there's a feminine presence, you know, even in this town, even though it's been suppressed, that I think that we're going to be able to tap into and do some really good things with.
All right. Okay. I mean, I mean, it's easy to say criticize our fellow seekers, and
oh, it's not a criticism, Dan. It's just a fact. People get manipulated. Look at Bill Moore and look at what happened with the aviary.
Yeah. Well, anyway, I mean, we try to focus on a positive message, and rather than criticize other people's message, is what I would like to do. But thank you, Kevin. Yeah, I mean, but you have to deal with that up close. I'm glad I'm not dealing with that on a daily basis. Let's see. Have you followed it? I don't know about the mummy story. I think that it might be significant. So, boy, I sure don't.
What's the mummy story?
Oh, so I mean, it may be a visitor, a mummy of a visitor.
Yeah, I've been in the rainforest. I don't know what's been going on.
Yeah, I'm afraid we're not. I just heard about it. I have no inside information on that. Let's see. I have seen. The orbs could be portals. Yes, they certainly are. I mean, that's what I think Kevin was describing to me yesterday. It sounded like an orb, but this one was deliberately produced, and using probably an actuator, but not. And now John has another actuator out there, so goodness knows. I don't know. We're in double portals. Let's see. Well, yes, beings do come through them. They sure do. I mean, that's just a UFO. You see, when a UFO lands, and sometimes the visitors, you know, get off them and, you know, take samples and everything. So, you know, a UFO is a portal.
So, one of the things that I experienced on this trip, which is kind of like, you know, you would think, we went on a caiman and a crocodile search. because some of the conservationists I was working with, they're doing research on caimans and crocs. So we caught a baby caiman about 6 months old, and we caught him with a tong, and then we put tape around his mouth, and the biologist that we were working with had to get some vital information on this croc. So I did the measurements for the caiman, sorry, not croc, and measurements around the body, the tail, and all the other parts of it, of this little guy. And then at the very end, he had to cut off 2 of his little scales on his tail, because that's the way they mark the caiman. And as I'm watching all this, and I think about how much destruction humans do to other species, because their thought process is, oh, there's no pain, he doesn't feel anything, yet I could see blood coming out of his off of the tail. And once again, it's that whole process of being judgmental. We're already assuming that, oh, we're going to do all this because we want to understand a little bit more about this particular species, but at the same time, we're willing to harm that species to understand it. And then when that caiman, or any of these crocs or caimans, have to deal with humans, they're not going to look at us as their friends because they've had a bad experience with us. So it goes back to when you treat whatever the other species is the way you would want to be treated, I think that will happen. But I think a lot of times we have this perception that extraterrestrial beings want to come here and they're going to tie up our hands and our feet, and they're going to take part of our skin off or take our hair or whatever they're going to do. But they're going to do these tragic things. But then we have to be understanding and say, well, if we're doing this for science, wouldn't they be doing the same thing to understand us? So the point that I'm trying to make is a lot of times we all agree on a method that somebody has already created for us, and it becomes a standard. And then nobody wants to question that. And then the person that comes in to question that method becomes more of a, oh my gosh, you're an outcast, basically. And I see that happening a lot in conservation or biology, but I feel like it's the same thing when we apply it to anything, when it's related to portals or anything else as well. There are people that will look at aliens as, oh, they're bad, or they're evil, or they're here to take over or harm us. And then there are people that are like, well, you know what? Let's open the doors, let's open our house and let them come in and learn more about us, and we can learn more about them. And I think if we have more of those type of people, we would have abilities to actually interact. So going back to my caiman and croc story, the first interaction this caiman or croc is going to have with a human is not a positive interaction. So therefore, the next time he or she encounters a human, they're not going to be friendly towards us. Whereas Ron, the footman, he had a caiman as a pet, and he would take them down for a walk on the street, and they were pretty much best friends. But here I was at this reserve with biologists and conservationists that want to learn about science and understand it, but yet they're too scared to even have one at their reserve to really understand it. You don't really learn anything about tying something up and getting a few vitals from them. You understand another species by interacting and living with it and having it understand you and having you understand it. So I think for those of you that are looking for those experiences, you have to be open to those experiences as well. So.
Okay. Yeah. Oops. Oh dear. Where were we? Let's see. Okay. Let's see. Things from. First, is the orb? What if the orb is a Merkaba? I'm not quite sure I know what a Merkaba is, but I guess it could be that, certainly.
The Merkava's at the top of your head, Dan.
Okay, very
It's
good.
where Ruach goes in and out of, from the top of your head.
Okay, well, that sounds like Bill this morning was explaining to us about yoga experience, and it's like Kundalini, the portals there. Kundalini has different portals, personal portals that are associated with the spine. I believe when orbs regroup, the orbs can combine into thing. Are there no visitors from planets in our galaxy? Well, I don't think there are any planets in our galaxy. I mean, that's just my my personal view is that what we see out there is just a background to the human drama, basically. So no, now I could be proved wrong tomorrow but I don't. I mean, even if we get a signal from, it seems to be coming from another planet, I think it's likely to be a distraction from our own. I mean, this is what I believe with the best possible world, that this is the best possible world, and it's the only one, and it's a personal one. And if we had infinite number of other creations out there, how would we relate to them? We're having enough trouble relating to each other on this planet. We don't have to. We don't need other creations, other planets. Let's see. Okay, doing other. All right. Well, if there are no further questions.
Hi, Katerina.
Hi, Katerina. Yeah. Hi. We could.
We can prepare for dinner, Dan.
Maybe we can prepare for dinner, and being as we're on this side of the portal, dinner is necessary. Well, it's an option. It's more than an option. So I hope we learn more about. I mean, I think this has been educational. Just meeting different people have different views on this.
I think we might lose power, Dan.
We might be losing power, which would mean we could be losing our internet. So, okay, when will someone be going through the portal?
Well, there's somebody that goes through the portal every day.
Every day. I mean, I'm sitting next to a portal traveler who does it every day. Yeah, and there's one man over there. Yeah. They go through almost every day.
Yeah.
So, I mean, and they're not. I'd like them to tell us more, and they do. And I learn something every day. Every time I talk to Princess, I learn something new about the portal. So, like I say, though, we'll just have to be patient with the process.
And patience is thing, and perfection.
Patience.
And perfecting yourself means to not be judgmental. That's a process.
Basically, to be able to.
You have to strip yourself of preconceived notions and bias and judgments you have.
Okay. Yes.
Because from the day we're born, we're told what to believe and
how much time can one spend on the other? What's the longest you've been on the other side? That's on Earth time, would you say?
Earth time. That's a good question.
Well, you don't have to answer if you don't feel comfortable. But
I mean, I can be gone. Yeah,
it's different on the other side.
It is different, and I would like to say there's no such thing, actually.
That's time.
Yeah.
It's an illusion that we hold on to dearly here because we need to know where our next meal is coming from.
Yes.
So that's time specific. It's not quite such a problem on the other side. Okay, well, maybe we should quit while we're ahead. What happens to our bodies when we're at a portal? Well, it's an out-of-body experience. or shape-shifting,
Yeah.
shape-shifting out-of-body experience. So it's kind of like a lucid dream, except it's one you can share, readily share with the people who accompany you through the portal.
Yeah.
Understand? Okay, well, so thank you very much, everybody. We're sorry for the confusion, and there's
Thank
been some
you.
reception down here. Thank you, Doug.
Yes, thank you, Dan.
Thank
Thank
you,
you.
everyone, for joining us.
Yeah. All right.
And,
We'll see you again.
Enjoyed it. Make sure we do it soon.
Yeah, we will. If Dan stays out of the doghouse, we will.
If I behave myself,
Yeah.
don't get my muddy paws over there.
Yeah, we might actually have a call, our next show from the other side of the world next time, Dan.
Other side. Oh,
If you
okay.
go on that trip with me,
Oh, okay. Well, that's
we'll be in the Himalayas.
okay.
Wow.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Okay. Sign
Thank you,
off.
everybody. Thank you.
Have a
Thanks
good
for
night,
joining.
everyone.
Thank you.
Bye.
Great paintings, Doug.
Love that.
Thank you very
painting.
much.
Okay.
Thank you very much. Appreciate that.
Thank you. Good night.
Good night,
Bye-bye.
everyone.
All right.
Right.
Bye.
Good night. Good portaling. Good portaling.
Good portaling, yes.
Okay. Let's see. I don't.